Iraq is brutal. The USA can't launch another ground action, and Iran knows it. The UN is a cowardly farce. NATO, MIA. So Iran sits there and gloats about all the death and destruction it is causing. Finally, it was nice to see the far-left Boston Globe editorialize today against Iran, but I still believe some far-left Americans are clueless about the vicious war we're in. How would Ted Kennedy or Barbara Boxer or Howard Dean wage the terror war? What exactly would they do? If you figure it out, please let me know. Sure, Iran would be interested as well. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, two expert views on the fighting in the Middle East and how it affects America. Joining us now, Steve Cook from the Council on Foreign Relations, and from Washington, Danielle Pletka, the Vice President of Foreign Policy Studies at the American Enterprise Institute. All right, Danielle, I'll begin with you. I don't see a way out of here. I usually have a solution to problems. I don't see a way out. As long as China and Russia run interference for Iran, and Iran is bent on killing people and creating chaos and advancing Islamic fundamentalism, I don't know what the USA can do about it. Do you?
I'm not sure what the U.S. can do about it, but the first thing that we ought to do is stop fronting for the Chinese in the Security Council. If they want to veto a resolution on, resolutions on North Korea, if the Russians want to veto resolutions on Iran, then we should force them to do it rather than backing off every single time.
Yeah, but
we need to hold these countries to account.
The Bush administration says that if we worsen relations with China and Russia, particularly China, which we need in economic area, if we worsen relationship with them, if we embarrass them, cause them to lose face, that it really gets us nowhere, because they're not going to back down and help us against Iran, so it strengthens Iran. And point to that?
I think every time we back down, we encourage the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians, and every other rogue, including Al-Qaeda and Hezbollah and Hamas. We need to force these people to make choices. If the Chinese need to sell, we need to buy. I understand that. On the other hand, we need to force these countries to back off. We have national security interests at stake here.
All right, Mr. Cook, how do you see it?
Well, I agree. I think that this is an important issue that goes beyond just the United States and Iranian relations, and it very much has to do with the Russians and the Chinese. Clearly, this is an issue that the United States needs to talk about with Russian and Chinese officials.
Yeah, but that's all bull, and with all due respect. I'm not attacking. They are talking. They've been talking and talking and talking, okay? They're not getting anywhere.
Well, we need to get serious with...
Who's we? Who's we? I'm serious. You're serious, right?
We're very serious.
Bush is serious, I think.
Well, we're not so sure. As you just said to Danielle Pletka, look, the United States backs off at every turn with regard to the Russians and the Chinese.
They don't want to embarrass them because they don't feel that embarrassing them is going to lead anywhere.
Well, I think that the most important thing for the United States to do is try to take an opportunity here to go after the Russians and the Chinese on this issue. We do, as Danielle Pletka says, have very serious national security interests related to this. The Middle East is on the precipice of a regional war. The address for dealing with this is not just Damascus, it's not just Tehran, it is in Beijing and Moscow.
All right. I don't think, both of you, I don't think if we embarrassed Russia and China in the United Nations, it would matter at all. I don't. So I'm not sure whether that's the right strategy. All right, let's assume, no matter what, Russia and China are not going to stop Iran. All right, let's assume the worst. They're not. Then what, Danielle? Then what?
Well, we need to remember that we do need to address some of our complaints to Tehran and to Damascus as well. One of the things that we've been doing in the past is counseling constantly on the Israelis to restrain themselves. Don't do anything that'll provoke. Don't do anything that'll escalate. The Israelis need to be able to respond to this as strongly as necessary.
No, I think you saw that today when Bush said they have a right to defend themselves. I don't think the Bush administration is going to have them. But how far should they go? I mean, if the Israelis want to knock you out Beirut, they certainly can. Damascus, I mean, if the Israelis attack Damascus, then you do have a regional war.
First of all, I don't think the Syrians have the capacity to respond. Second of all, the address where all of this belongs, unfortunately, is not in Beirut and is in Damascus and Tehran. Third of all, we need to remember something important as Americans. When we let the Taliban, a lawless government, control Afghanistan and partner itself with Al-Qaeda, they plotted eventually against us. That is what is going to happen in Syria and Lebanon and Iran. This is not reserved only to the Israelis.
Absolutely. All of this is tied in together. Iran, who's Iran's worst enemy? Us. Who do they want to destroy? They hate the Jews, and they want to kill every Jew in Israel, but we're the ones they're really after. Last question.
Great Satan.
Yeah, last question, Mr. Cook. Military action, look, here's what Iran's going to do. It's going to push us as far as it can. It's going to do as much damage to the world as it can. And then it'll draw back if it thinks military action's coming its way, correct?
I think that's precisely the case. And there won't be much upside for the United States to take military action directly against Iran. They have too many cards that they can play against us. They have cards to play against us in Afghanistan, cards to continue to make our lives miserable in Iraq, and obviously, as we've seen, they've heated up the border between Israel and Lebanon.
All right, World War III, right?
Possibly.
I think we're in it. I absolutely think we're in it. Thanks very much, Danielle. Mr. Cook, always a pleasure. Next on the rundown, the assault on America's children continues. How should society punish this woman, 28-year-old Pamela Rogers, for continuing to pursue a 14-year-old male student? And later, did the mob really try to kill Geraldo? He'll be here, upcoming.
For people with diabetes, testing with Freestyle is virtually pain-free. Freestyle uses the world's smallest blood sample size. And that means happy fingers. Ask your healthcare professional about Freestyle blood glucose monitors.
The Mercury Mariner is the SUV that proves you don't have to give up anything to get everything. Setting new trends with unexpected touches everywhere you look. With the Mariner Hybrid, you'll save at the pump and help the environment, too. The compact SUV has never been in better shape. Mercury Mariner. Now get Mercury Mariner, a Consumer's Digest Best Buy, 2 years running at this great rate. You gotta put Mercury on your list.
It has been all Colts today. Setting up again, 3rd and 5
Hey,
now.
you, come here. It's 28-3. If you have an NFL Sunday ticket from DirecTV, you can watch up to 14 games every Sunday. So instead of watching this, you watch my brother Eli play against the Cowboys. Oh, I gotta run. Actually, I think I'll pass.
Pump fake. Touchdown.
Buy NFL Sunday Ticket. Get 4 months of our best programming package for free. There's good TV, there's better TV, and then there's DirecTV.
At 6'4", 220 pounds, Bob's a formidable man. But he was no match for something less than 1/1,000,000th his size. It KO'd Bob so fast, he didn't know what hit him. It was a clot. Like Bob, if you've been hospitalized with heart-related chest pain or a certain type of heart attack, what doctors call ACS, chances are you've had a clot. But now, Bob's doctor is helping increase Bob's protection against heart attack and stroke by putting Bob on Plavix. Plavix, in combination with aspirin and other heart medicines, helps provide greater protection against heart attack and stroke than aspirin and other heart medicines alone by helping keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you shouldn't use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase. To minimize this risk, talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix. Additional rare but serious side effects could occur.
Ask your doctor about Plavix today, because no matter how formidable you are, you're no match for a dangerous clot. If you take Plavix with aspirin, continuing to do so will help increase your protection against a future heart attack or stroke. Beyond aspirin and your other heart medicines alone, you may be feeling better, but your risk never goes away. Help stay protected. Stay with Plavix.
North Korean missiles raise world fears, but their military threat is nothing new.
North Koreans bring another international crisis to the already long-suffering world.
Sent to Korea to stop a communist invasion.
It was the first battle in the Cold War.
With their backs to the sea and no chance in sight, they fiercely fought a powerful enemy.
I didn't panic, but I wanted to.
Now we take you inside the incredible victory of the Battle for the Busan Perimeter. Sunday at 8. Don't miss War Stories with Oliver North.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Harris Faulkner. Israeli warplanes striking a bridge south of Beirut. The target, a Hezbollah stronghold and fuel storage depot for a local power plant. Israeli warplanes have also bombed the Beirut airport more than once, and they hit the highway leading from Beirut into Syria's capital. Israel also targeting offices in northern Gaza said to be used by the Hamas government. A package of incentives for Iran to stop enriching uranium could include advanced technology and even nuclear research reactors. The full offer was revealed for the first time today. The package developed by the U.S., Britain, Russia, China, Germany, and France was given to Iran on June 6th, but the country has not said yes or no yet. The Iraq war could cost $406 billion more over the next decade. The Congressional Budget Office reporting the price tag could be lower if U.S. troops are pulled out completely by 2009. U.S. funding for just Iraqi security forces alone could cost $15 billion over the next 10 years. A South Korean businessman found guilty in the UN oil for food scam. Don Soon Pak, convicted of illegally influencing top UN officials. A U.S. government prosecutor telling jurors Pak arranged to receive millions of dollars for favors. He was the first person tried in the oil for food scandal and could face more than 12 years in prison. Our next news break is just after the bottom of the hour.
Unresolved Problem segment tonight. What do you do with teachers who have physical relationships with their students? Tomorrow, 28-year-old elementary school gym teacher Pamela Rogers will be in Tennessee courtroom after violating her parole for having sex with a 13-year-old male student. Rogers served 6 months in jail, was let out on probation, was told to stay away from the kid, but she did not. Instead, she sent this suggestive cell phone video to the boy, who's now 14, by all accounts, an outrageous action. So what should happen to Pamela Rogers after a second probation violation? Joining us now from Atlanta, Drew Findling, a criminal defense attorney, is following the case. All right, I'm making you Judge Findling, okay? So this woman shows up tomorrow, Tennessee court, 2 probation violations. First of all, I think she got off lightly the first time with 6 months in jail. So what do you do, Judge Findling? What do you give her?
Bill, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to acknowledge that I made a major mistake in defining the terms and conditions of her probation. I'm going to acknowledge that if she were a drug addict, I wouldn't just put her on probation, I'd have her in treatment. If she were a kleptomaniac, I wouldn't put her so she can go to a mall, I'd have her so she had treatment. This judge, when he defined the terms and conditions of her probation, did not acknowledge one thing about this woman. She's wacko. Anybody her age having a relationship with a 13-year-old child is absolutely sick. And he should have required that she be in counseling. He should have required that she had treatment. They didn't do that. There is no way whatsoever that she was going to go out there with the temptation of the internet, which has unleashed wackos all over the world, and not contacted this kid. I'm going to redefine the terms of the probation. I think she's been scared straight, but I'm going to require that she constantly be monitored so that her behavior conforms with what society expects of her.
Now,
I think
so you're not going to put her in jail. You're not going to send her back to jail, right? No,
I would not put her back in jail.
All right, 2 probation violations. All right, so you're not putting her back in jail, and you're going to say, okay, lady, you've got to go to counseling, and I, Judge Findling, are going to monitor you. How are you going to do that?
Well, I'll tell you how I'm going to do it. The prosecutor made a bold move on Monday, Bill. He said, I'm going to present this to grand jury. I'm going to get an indictment, and that's what he did. So the probation's going to continue, and if he's going to follow up on that indictment, she's going to be adjudicated anyway. That is, she may go to trial on these new charges, and at that time, if she's convicted, clearly precedent's been set that this judge thinks jail time was important before, he'll send her to jail again. But if the prosecutor was bluffing, and a lot of judges will see if you're bluffing with a grand jury indictment, we'll say, okay, I'm going to have you monitored, I'm going to have you on treatment, I'm going to have you on
Well, what does that mean, monitored?
probation.
You're going to follow her around? What does that mean?
Well, what that means is that she's going to have to check in with a counselor daily. She's going to have to check in with a probation officer.
It's not going to work. Here's what I'm going to do. All right, now I'm Judge O'Reilly. All right, and society is much better served by having me as a judge instead of you, counselor. Here's what I'm doing. Number one, she's being held without bail now, which is the right move. So she's back in jail. So I'm saying to her, you're going to serve 1 year in jail, all right, because you violated twice probation. That was an easy sentence the first time. So you're going for 1 year. After that year, then you are going to go for 5 years probation with treatment, whatever, all of that. But I punish her for 2 reasons. To protect the 14-year-old whose parents say the kid is devastated, and number 2, to send a message to other, as you call them, wackos, that if you do it, you're going up. You're going to serve time. Now, I agree. This is a disturbed woman. But being disturbed in our society, counselor, is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. I'll give you the last word.
Well, number one, I'd negotiate with you and try to get 6 months. But
Yeah,
setting that aside,
and if you did that, I'd give her 2 years. Okay?
Well,
That's the kind of guy I am.
I don't think...
So you'd stand there and go,
Hey,
thank you, Judge. I appreciate it. And we'd go out to lunch. Because if you gave me any jazz, I'd give her 2. Go ahead.
hey, I like that approach, but I don't think jail's going to do one thing for her
I don't
whatsoever.
care.
I
want to
agree she
protect
was
the
openly
kid.
defiant.
I want to protect the kid, and I want to send a message to other wackos. I don't care
Well,
if it does her
let me
good
tell
or
you,
not.
doing this for a
Doesn't
living, hey, Bill, doing this for a living, we need to shut down the MySpace.coms of the world because they're unleashing
Hey, I'm
the
with you
wackos.
there, boy.
And
You get that going,
wait.
and I'm right there with you. All right, Counselor, I got to
Hey,
run.
I'll join the movement with you.
Thanks
you,
very
Bill.
much. Coming up, will the most famous baseball player in the world be wearing handcuffs instead of batting gloves? Things look very bad for Barry Bonds. And then Geraldo. Did he escape a mafia hit? Moments away.
From Main Street to Wall Street, Fox means business.
Here's the stretch. And the pitch.
They say that in life, there's only room for one great passion. Unless you're really clever. Viagra. Viagra can help guys with all degrees of erectile dysfunction, from mild to severe.
Before taking Viagra, make sure you're healthy enough to have sex. Don't take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain because it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision, stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away. Viagra is one of several ED treatments you and your doctor can consider.
Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you.
Have a good day. See you tonight.
Okay.
Introducing the new Suzuki Grand Vitara. You want more out of life? Suzuki's giving you the green light. Go!
Right. But a talking gecko. Why?
I'll tell you why. Because people trust advertising icons. Some bloke tells you to go to geico.com and you're like, really? And just who might you be? But a gecko, he can be trusted. I ask if you want to save hundreds on car insurance, and you're like, yes, thank you. Mind babysitting my kids? And I'm like, of course I'll sit with the kids. You're like a brother to me.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
You can really see the difference at Willamette View, Portland's premier accredited senior residence. You'll love the lifestyle and the views from our landscaped acreage on the Willamette River. A variety of activities, social, cultural, and wellness programs, and involved and vibrant residents are at the center of the senior community. Come see our newly renovated apartment options and discover the difference for yourself. Come see why Willamette View got its name.
You're going to love saving 13% over the phone company. Switch to Comcast Digital Voice and get unlimited local and long distance with 12 great calling features plus voicemail for just $39.95 a month. Comcast Digital Voice. It's Comcastic. Switch to Comcast Digital Voice risk-free and get all your Comcast services on one bill.
The case of 22-year-old Norman Craig charged with raping a 9-year-old girl because the prosecutor was late for court. Judge Gallagher defended herself, saying the case could be refiled by that prosecutor. Now, we also have updates on a number of other dubious judges joining us from Boston with analysis. Attorney and child advocate Wendy Murphy. All right, you saw the judge come on here and say, look, I don't like the prosecutor. He was irresponsible, so I threw it out. They can refile. What's your reaction to that?
You know, aside from the jaw-dropping reaction I had last night when the judge said she had no choice, which is absolutely false, the simple truth is, Bill, judges have a lot of options when they're mad at prosecutors. They can hold them in contempt. They can just continue the case until the morning and charge the state for whatever the costs were associated with the delay. You know, I've been a prosecutor. I've been doing this work for 20 years. I've never heard of a judge throwing out a serious felony because she doesn't like the fact that the prosecutor was a couple of hours late.
Right.
Let's remember, we're not talking about constitutional misconduct, violating the guy's rights. There was no serious harm to the guy's rights.
No,
that
but it's
might have
bad blood.
justified this
It's bad
conviction.
blood between the prosecutor and the judge. The prosecutor thinks the judge is in the tank, doesn't think there's a case, and he's trying to get her off. And now the prosecutor says he's filed an appeal to the Ohio Supreme Court. So it's not going to go away. We're going to watch it. But I agree with you, and I told the judge that. Could have done it another way, and it sends a bad message. And now you got a guy walking around. He's out walking around, and he,
And
you know,
she
is
didn't
accused
take
of raping another.
responsibility for that
No,
last
no, it's the
night. She did
prosecutor's
not
fault.
take responsibility.
All right. Now, in Vermont, probably the best place, if you are a child molester, you should move to Vermont. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say it lightly. But now it looks like the little girl who was raped by two men, Mark Hewlett, who got 60 days by Judge Edward Cashman. Now, they changed that sentence because of us to 3 years. But there's another guy, Derek Kimball. In August, he's going to come up for raping the same girl. What's going to happen there, Wendy?
You know, it's hard to know because one of the most repulsive things about this part of the story is we don't know enough about exactly what happened, except that apparently he and Hewlett, to some extent, acted together, raped this child together.
That's the accusation.
We don't know a lot of the details because there's a gag order on the case, which frankly I think should be called the "We don't want Bill O'Reilly to know what we're doing because we may bag the case."
But it looks like there's a plea bargain. It looks like this guy Kimball is going to plea bargain the rape charge down. That's what it looks like.
Absolutely. Look, that's what they did with Cashman. Why wouldn't they give at least the same kind of deal to this guy? And I'll tell you, if they don't give this guy the deal, his lawyer is going to throw a fit. Why treat this guy differently? He's going to claim some kind of constitutional violation. You watch.
Well, it's not Cashman here in the case, though. It's another judge, correct?
But it's going to look, it is another judge, but they have to be careful that it's going to look unfair if they don't treat these two guys the same. And by the way, even though you did get the sentence bumped up, which I think was the first time ever, by the way, that because of public pressure from your show, a judge actually increased someone's sentence. I don't think that's ever happened before. But because of the public pressure, I don't think he'll get anything less than what the other guy got. But even that, what is it now, 3 years, is grossly inadequate for what they did to that child.
Of course, they raped the girl for 4 years. I mean, it's ridiculous. All right, I only have 30 seconds. The crazy judge in Nebraska, Kakava, who gave the 5'1" rapist, wouldn't send him to jail because he was too short, is now being investigated by the state.
Yeah, and thank goodness. And pardon me for correcting, I think her name is Sakeva, but if we're going to start yelling at judges, I want to make sure we say their names right.
Sure.
And I'm told it's Sakeva. Sakeva should be known as a terrible judge. And the good thing is there are judicial oversight organizations out there. The public has to find out about them, file complaints.
Right.
You can do it on the Internet. You can do it anonymously.
Sakeva is under
Let's do it.
investigation in Nebraska, and we'll let everybody know what happens. Wendy, always a pleasure. Thank you. Plenty more ahead as the Factor moves along this evening. Is there a Christian component to the hit movie Pirates of the Caribbean? One critic says, yeah. Right back.
For design to be truly inspired, it must be more than just artful. It must perform beautifully too. Now at the Infiniti Limited Engagement Summer Event, test drive the Infiniti M or FX and ask about our attractive lease and finance rates. But don't wait too long. The Infiniti Limited Engagement ends July 31st.
You think that I'd be able to find whatever it is that haunts my mind? You think that I could find the something I can't live without? I couldn't tell you if you asked me. All I know is I want more. Hey, I just want some more. I gotta get some. I gotta get it right now. You know I really want it and I gotta get more. Gotta get it right now. You know I really want it and I gotta get more.
You'd be surprised at how much fiber is missing from your diet. But now there's new FiberSure from the makers of Metamucil. Simply add it to the foods you already eat. The fiber blends right in. You can't taste it, can't see it. Just mix it in. It's that easy. New FiberSure. It's just what you've been missing.
Pillaging was great this time of year, but with so many people switching to Capital One, we've taken jobs as camp counselors. Burnt a village to the ground, doo-dah, doo-dah. We're not exactly role models.
For low rates and great rewards, switch to Capital One.
What's in your wallet? Put your backs into it.
Thing you know when we blow up.
Your risks are always evolving. Shouldn't your insurance stay in sync? Travelers.
Impact segment tonight, the grand jury hearing testimony about baseball slugger Barry Bonds, set to wrap things up next week. Bonds is suspected of taking illegal steroids, and he may have lied about it before a grand jury in 2003. That would be a felony. Also, there are questions about Bonds paying taxes on some memorabilia sales. Joining us now from Atlanta is David Cornwall, a sports attorney who represented baseball player Benito Santiago in a steroid investigation. In fact, the same one, the Balco investigation going on in California. You think Bonds is going to get indicted?
I do. When we received our federal grand jury subpoena for Benito, we knew that the Balco investigation was really about two things. One was investigating Balco's activities. The other was to set a perjury trap for a high-profile professional athlete. And it became clear as matters unfolded that Barry was the target, and I think they're about to get their guy.
What's a perjury trap? Now, Benito Santiago, your client, played with Bonds on the San Francisco Giants. So explain to us, what's the perjury trap?
Perjury trap is when the government feels good about what it knows, what a witness knows, and expects the witness to come in and testify truthfully about that information. And if the witness doesn't, then they're going to spring a perjury charge on the witness. Now, we were negotiated an opportunity to review the documents that had been seized both in the Balco raid and the raid of Anderson, Greg Anderson, the trainer's home. We were able to review our documents before we went in, before Benito went in to testify in front of the grand jury. The government reneged on its deal to let Barry review his documents twice. A week before the grand jury testimony.
So they gave your client, Santiago, a break because you got to see what the government already knew. So you got to say, so Santiago couldn't, lie about anything. I don't know whether he would or wouldn't, but because he knew what they had. But Bonds didn't get the same break.
It's a very powerful technique when you get to see what the government knows and encouraging your client to tell the truth.
Now, one of the lawyers close to Barry Bonds told us that he doesn't believe the government has Bonds because Anderson, the guy you just mentioned, Greg Anderson, the guy who allegedly supplied all the steroids, went to jail rather than testify against Bonds. And the lawyer told me they wouldn't have sent Anderson to jail, they wouldn't have come down that hard on him if they could get Bonds another way.
I disagree with that. You've heard the statement that you can indict a ham sandwich. Well, they have much more than that. I believe, as evidence. They have calendars that reflect a cycle for taking steroids with Barry's name on it. They believe they have payment records reflecting the payment for specific
Yeah, but
steroids.
you know what he's saying. He says he didn't know what the stuff was. It was clear. Yeah, he took it, but he didn't know what it was. You know what he's saying.
Well, I understand what he's saying, but it goes beyond the clear and the cream. It also goes to specific steroids. But again, the standard here is probable cause that he committed a crime.
Well, yeah, okay. So I don't disagree that he's going to be indicted. I don't know if he's going to be convicted. I don't disagree. You know whether Barry Bonds took steroids, don't you, Counselor?
No, I don't.
No, you
I
don't?
never saw him, so therefore I don't know.
Well, your client obviously was in the same locker room with him.
You asked me whether I knew.
Then your client, I'm sure, told you.
Well, if he did, I couldn't tell you because of the attorney-client privilege, but I can tell you that I do not know whether Barry Bonds took steroids.
All right. Are you surprised that Bonds' mistress and his best friend have turned on him and now are telling the feds all kinds of terrible things about him?
I'm not so much surprised as I believe that it's unfortunate. And, man, what a mistake for Barry to find himself in this position. The only liability that you have when you get an immunity agreement, when you testify in front of a grand jury, is if you tell a lie. And it was clear that there was a perjury trap out there. I think it was equally clear that Barry was the target of the trap. And here, notwithstanding all that evidence, he fell into it.
So he should have just gone in there and told the truth. What happened?
Well, whatever happened, he should have said the truth. And he knows, and presumably the government has a good indication of what they believe happened as well.
All right. So you expect to see Bonds arrested, indicted, and then put on trial for perjury, huh?
I expect to see him indicted, but I don't think we're going to see him do the perp walk or anything like that, no.
All right, Counselor. Thanks very much. We appreciate your expertise. When we come back, Geraldo Rivera may have been the target of a mafia assassination plan also. Get some thoughts on the violence in the Middle East. Mr. Rivera enters the no-spin zone in just a few moments.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia. All-out war a possibility as violence escalates in the Middle East. Fox News correspondent David Lee Miller is live in Gaza City with the latest. David Lee.
Donna, Israel continues to ratchet up the pressure in Lebanon. The most recent airstrikes taking place in South Beirut, where Hezbollah has many of its offices. According to witnesses, as many as 7 missiles could be heard slamming into that area. Targets include a fuel storage tank and 2 bridges, also hit a roadway leading to Lebanon's main airport. The latest military action takes place hours after Israel says a Hezbollah airstrike targeted that country's 3rd largest city of Haifa, despite denials from Hezbollah that it was behind the Haifa attack. Israel's ambassador to the U.S. called it, and I quote, a major escalation. Well, there were no injuries in Haifa. 1 woman was killed and more than 100 Israelis were injured by rockets fired into the Israeli city of Nahariya. The latest violence has also claimed the lives of more than 45 Lebanese, including 2 in the most recent Israeli strikes. In Gaza, meanwhile, the Israeli Air Force is also keeping up the pressure with 2 missiles hitting Hamas offices here. Also targeted in the last few hours, a bridge and terrorist training camps. The Palestinian Foreign Minister Mahmoud Zahar, while touring damage by an Israeli airstrike, said that Israel will not get back its captured soldiers with military action. Donna?
David Lee Miller, thank you for that update.
America's first name in automotive innovation, Ford, is working together with the world's most trusted name in automobile safety, Volvo, on a common mission, developing breakthrough safety innovations to help protect children, keep families safer, and save lives.
We're renewing our commitment to driving American innovation. At the core of that effort is your safety, because every single life saved is worth it.
Great taste, low cholesterol here. Great taste.
Your 2%? Next.
Great taste, lower cholesterol. Great taste, lower cholesterol.
Honey Nut Cheerios. When something tastes great and can help lower cholesterol, it's quite a draw.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Be happy, be healthy.
Hallway. Kitchen. Dining room. Here he comes.
The right floor makes everybody happy. That's why Lowe's has the widest selection of any national retailer, whether it's tile, hardwood, or carpet. We'll even install it for you. Lowe's, let's build something together.
Use your Lowe's card and pay nothing for 12 months on purchases of $299 or more in these departments.
Okay, what's with the phone? You had that out all night. Oh, it's not just a phone. It takes photos with this little camera, and it also records little video clips.
Interest rates keep climbing, and so are your monthly payments. Refinance your adjustable rate mortgage with LendingTree and save as much as $250 a month. Call 1-800-555-TREE now to lower your monthly payments. When banks compete, you win. Rates are climbing higher, and so are your interest payments. Refinance your adjustable rate mortgage with LendingTree and save up to $3,000 a year. Call 1-800-555-TREE now before rates climb even higher. When banks compete, you win.
A 7-speed automatic transmission, a 268 horsepower engine. Start a summer romance that lasts a lifetime. The Mercedes-Benz Summer Event. See your local authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for a great lease offer on a powerful 2006 E350 sedan.
The #1 show that dominates cable news, The O'Reilly Factor.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Thursdays with Geraldo segment. Tonight, Mr. Rivera reported on his syndicated program, Geraldo at Large, that a mafia turncoat says the mob wanted to kill our intrepid pal, but Geraldo lived to tell about it. And here he is. Why would anybody want to kill you?
Really?
What was that? Was that a mafia sign? Or
that was,
what was that?
I'm telling my homeboys now. They watch my
Did you just hit a home run or something? Did I miss it? All right.
No, Tommy Horsehead Scafidi was
Tommy Horsehead
Scafidi.
Scafidi.
They've all got their monikers.
Doesn't he do the show after Beretta Van Susteren?
Tommy was one of the hitmen for a guy named John Stampa. John Stampa was a classic old-world mafia boss who ruled Philadelphia around the same time that John Gotti was in charge here in town, at least of one of the families here in town. So Stampa, you look at him, he's a real hard case, and I confronted him in an ambush interview. I went to his warehouse in South Philly, and the warehouse is really the headquarters.
Was this for your syndicated show?
This was actually for my old program in the early 90s.
The talk show, Geraldo.
Actually, it was for Now It Can Be Told, my
Now It Can Be Told.
But it was also, I was doing a documentary.
So you confronted the mobster in his warehouse. What was he doing?
He was meeting with the boys, and he says, "Get that camera out of my face." And I kept pressing him. And
About what? What was he doing?
Well, he was running. There was a death, at least a mob hit a week in Philadelphia during that time. People tend to forget. Our memories get dulled with all this, all these actions competing for our attention. But in Philadelphia then, there was a terrible mob war going on. There was a murder a week, and sometimes in very dramatic fashion.
And you
guys
thought he
played
did
everywhere.
it?
No, I had no doubt, but that the feds were after Stampa already. He had been anointed the mob chieftain of that very important city in Philly. He was ruling the city with an iron fist, and I wanted to see, to shake him up a little bit. At least Gotti, remember, the Teflon Don would play a little with the press.
Right. He didn't like to press this guy. He didn't like Geraldo coming in there.
He was old school, old world, and he felt disrespected by my ambush interview. Okay. So he goes to Horsehead and says, the next time, he said this, the next time that spick shows his face, I want you to kill him, and here's how I want you to do it. 2 motorcycles, one in front of his car, the other behind, get him with the automatic weapons. He's going to probably be in the back rear passenger seat, on the right-hand side. So plug him when he comes
But
out. Horsehead was the hitman. Horsehead
he wouldn't do it.
Turned government snitch.
No, but he wouldn't kill you.
Well, what Horsehead says he said was, John, you can't kill Geraldo or any of these high-profile people. It'll just bring down more heat on
All right, but I got a question. Couldn't he have killed Jerry Springer?
I can name a couple of other people off the top of my head.
All right, so they didn't kill you. But when you heard the story...
He goes to jail for 6 years. He goes into the witness protection for 6 years. He comes out, he tells the story to a guy named Dave Schrettweiser, a crime reporter in Philly.
All right, but
he tells me.
When you heard it, did you believe it, or what did you think?
I totally believed it, but, it's one thing. I'm sort of a confident person physically. I have a sense of myself and my ability to take care of myself. But it's very different when you're threatened by a punk like a skinhead, for instance. The guy pushes you, you push him back, whatever. But when you're threatened by someone or you're told that there's a hit, and who's admitted to 4 homicides already, who's in the business of murder, it tends to rattle your cage a bit. So I do admit that I was, I had a momentary pause there.
Now,
it didn't really throw me off the track that much, but I had a momentary pause.
You may, if things get worse, go over to Lebanon.
Well, I may, because it's really going to hell in a handbasket. There's no doubt about it.
The question I have, and I asked this for our 2 guests at the top of the program, is, do you have any solution to Iran?
Iran is the key. Iran, it's almost like you know, if you pinch a baby, the baby's going to cry. You know that there's a reaction and there's an action, a reaction. When you kidnap Israeli soldiers, you know that Israelis,
they did it on purpose.
They did it on purpose to provoke this crisis.
Right.
And I believe not only did they do it to provoke the crises, but I think their hidden agenda is to destroy the fragile democratic government in Lebanon. Ever since Rafik Hariri, my friend, the prime minister, was assassinated by the Syrians, I think Iran has been very upset that Syria has been ejected, that a democratic government is really taking root there.
Yeah, they want Israel to wipe it out.
And Israel is playing into their hands by bombing the Beirut airport.
You'd have to. I mean, as I said,
I'm not
if you send terrorists across the Mexican border to kill 8 soldiers and kidnap 2 and harbor them, the United States is going to blow the hell out.
I have no doubt about that. If only Hezbollah was a more clear target.
But you don't know what you do. You don't know what to do.
So our theory is we get the Lebanese government on our side by exerting pressure on them to go after Hezbollah from the north. Let the Israelis do it from the south.
But
Iran is the only thing. First of all, God forbid that we open up another front in the war on terror by invading Iran or bombing
you could
Tehran.
bomb them, but you can't.
I think that is absolutely going down the wrong trail. The only answer, there's 2 answers. The short-term answer is economic sanctions immediately. We have to rally the international community behind us.
Well,
the long-term answer is we have to get off this oil dependency. We really have to deny them of this gigantic profit they have.
With China and Russia running interference for Iran, I don't think anything's
But
going to work.
I think Russia is going to come around because Russia has their own Islamic fanatic problem.
I hope you're right.
They have to see common cause ultimately, otherwise there's no hope for the world.
But Russia doesn't have any use for Israel. And they're probably having a good time watching the Israelis get battered.
I would hope that this would ultimately, Israel and the Palestinians can resolve
Last subject, we got about a minute. George Smith, the guy who fell overboard on his honeymoon cruise in Turkey. Now you got the fighting between the widow and the family. The widow takes the money from Celebrity Cruise, all right? Family says, we think the widow knows more. She sold us out. Your thoughts?
I have said right along, and I interviewed the last person to see George Smith alive. I have no doubt but that Jennifer Hagel-Smith does not want to be deposed because Jennifer Hagel-Smith was either with Lloyd, the casino manager, or someone else that night during her honeymoon. And I do not believe that Jennifer Hagel-Smith had this blackout. I've had plenty of parties in my life, Bill, believe it or not. I cannot remember having a night where I had amnesia and totally didn't remember what I did, particularly on any of my honeymoons. I remember more or less what went down. Jennifer Hagel-Smith did not want to be part of the Smith family civil lawsuit because she did not want to be deposed under oath, either civilly or criminally, to talk about what she did that night. She took the short money, and she's the only one that could bring the wrongful death action because she's the executor of her husband's estate. So now the family is left with a much shakier civil right. They're going after now the cruise line for intentional infliction of emotional distress rather than wrongful death. So Jennifer Hagel-Smith has cut the legs out of the Smith family lawsuit, and it's because she has something to hide.
Geraldo Rivera, we're glad Horsehead didn't get it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, you know, he wouldn't be here, and we would have had to do another segment. In a moment, some may find this hard to believe, but there could be a Christian theme running through the mega hit movie Pirates of the Caribbean. We'll be right back with that.
Because Fox is where the news is.
Excuse me, Dr. Z, a quick question. What have been the benefits of the merger between Daimler-Benz and Chrysler?
Get in. Benefits? Well, better performance, more capability, better quality, and more safety features.
Are you really a doctor?
Any more questions?
No, I'm good. Wiedersehen.
Get employee pricing plus 0% financing on 2006 Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge vehicles. If not satisfied, simply return it within 30 days.
Great taste, low cholesterol here. Great taste.
Your 2%? Next.
Great taste! Lower cholesterol! Great taste! Lower cholesterol!
Honey Nut Cheerios. When something tastes great and can help lower cholesterol, it's quite a draw.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Be happy, be healthy.
Portland's WB brings you Portland's only half-hour newscast at 10. Provided by the best news team in Portland, Northwest News Channel 8. Every night at 10 on Portland's WB, get breaking news from around the city, the country, and the world. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather from meteorologist Matt Zappino. Northwest News Channel 8 at 10 on Portland's WB, the 10 o'clock choice.
At 7, see the action. Romance at 11. Exciting, isn't it? It is exciting. Seinfeld, weeknights at 7 and 11 on Portland's WB.
Didn't save hundreds of dollars by switching car insurance. Yep, I'm the guy. Must be, because every day they tell me about a bazillion people who switched on TV, radio, billboards.
They show me entire stadiums worth of people who switched.
But Progressive Direct shows you side-by-side comparisons of competitors' rates and services, so you can see if their services are worth the savings. Those gazillion people should call Progressive, because no one likes to be wrong. Think easier. Think Progressive.
Comcast high-speed internet into your house? Well, pretty much everything. Because with Comcast, you get speeds up to 7 times faster than DSL, with free protection from McAfee Security, so you can shop and pay bills quickly and securely. Play games online, stream content, listen to your own commercial-free radio station. Plug into a better network with Comcast high-speed internet. Just $33 a month for up to 12 months. Comcast, the power of one. Real choice in home phone service, because with Comcast Digital Voice, now you're talking. For one flat rate, you get unlimited local and nationwide long distance on the phones you already have, using the power of the Comcast fiber optic network we built from the ground up. That includes 12 calling features and voicemail you can check online. So don't just chat. Talk with Comcast Digital Voice. Just $33 a month for up to 12 months. Comcast, the power of one. Tonight already, Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest has grossed about $350 million worldwide. It's only been out a week. That is almost miraculous. And while we're on that subject, the website MovieMinistry.com says there is a Christian theme running through the pirate movie, which may be news to some of our swashbuckling friends. Joining us now from San Diego is Dr. Mark Newman, the president of MovieMinistry.com.
Hi, Bill.
All right. Now, I didn't see the Dead Man's Chest. I did see the first one. I didn't see a lot of church going in there or praying as Johnny Depp cut people with ribbons. But maybe I missed it. So what's going on in this one?
Well, all of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies so far have had a lot of deep spiritual content in them, and the easiest way to slip it in is by making sure that people are having a good time. Dead Man's Chest is all about how people imperil, wager their souls, and why people are so interested in forestalling some kind of day of judgment. So all the way through the film, we have people gambling for their souls or selling their souls to Davy Jones with the express purpose of holding off the time in which they're going to have to meet their maker.
All right, so I get it. None of the pirates wants to die because they think they're all going to hell, so they're trying to delay the Grim Reaper. But there isn't any reference outright to Christianity, is there?
Well, there's a wonderful scene very early in the film where a couple of the pirates are rowing in a boat. They've just escaped from jail, and they used to be these immortal ghosts from the first film, but they've been humanized as a result of getting all their treasure back and having their blood sacrificed, which happens in the first movie. And so the guy is looking at a Bible. Now, he's reading it upside down because he's illiterate, but the guy asks him, what are you doing that for? And he says, well, we're not immortal anymore, and so now we have to take care of our immortal souls.
Now, do you feel that this was purposely put in this movie? Or is it just, somebody in a screenplay going, how do I fill this scene?
Bill, there's no way to really know, but one thing that I do know is that art has a tendency to transcend the intentions of its makers. And so I think that these stories are the kind of stories that resonate with people. Stories, you see a million movies where people get shot or cut or stabbed, and it doesn't have nearly the resonance as it does when you look at a bunch of people who are trembling over the idea of whether or not they're going to lose their soul.
All right, is it their soul or their life? Because nobody wants to die.
Oh, no, it's their soul, because there's a great scene early on in the film when Davy Jones is looking at a man, and he's giving them all the opportunity to escape meeting their maker by serving 100 years before the mast on his ship. And one of the young men is holding a rosary in his hand, and with a cross clearly identified, and he looks at him and he makes him the offer, and the guy says, no, I'd rather take my chances. In other words, in the afterlife, he feels secure. And so, of course, they cut his throat and throw him overboard. But the fact of the matter is, he would rather, like many Christian martyrs in the past, would rather die than serve on a hellish ship.
All right. Very interesting, Doctor. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. And next, we will wrap things up with the most ridiculous item of the day and some of your mouth.
Here we go. I'm sorry, Jake was next. Yeah, well, we're next now.
Well, I washed all the dishes and I did a lot more. I even bought the dinner at the grocery store. And now, Mom, you'll find the key next door. This little girl's gonna rock it. I left some biscuits for the pop. I put fresh water in it.
Your risks can change quickly. Make sure your insurance stays in sync. Travelers.
Pink Floyd, Pulse. Their last tour, now for the first time ever on DVD. Call or log on to PulseDVD.com now to order.
Don't be afraid to care.
Get 4 hours of Pink Floyd, including 2 hours of live concert on 2 DVDs, including the first ever filmed performance of their seminal album, The Dark Side of the Moon. Plus, amazing bonus features, including a documentary, concert screen projections, and more. Pink Floyd, Pulse, their last tour, at last on DVD. 2 DVD set in stores and online now. To order your copy today, call or log on to PulseDVD.com now.
Lincoln Mercury has some of America's hottest selling new models. And to celebrate, every 2006 Lincoln car, SUV, and luxury pickup has the best values of the summer during the Lincoln Mercury Celebration Clearance. Like Lincoln Zephyr, winner of the Luxury Car Interior of the Year. Now lease Zephyr with 0 first month payment, 0 down, and 0 cash due for only $364 a month. Don't miss the Lincoln Mercury Celebration Clearance.
I can't prove this, but I didn't kill her.
This fall, acclaimed producer Jerry Bruckheimer is going to court like only he can. Have you got the right lawyer with you? We've got the greatest legal system in the world. Justice, a new series coming this fall to Fox.
Dare to explore the biggest mysteries and legends and see the truth for yourself. Bold science, big answers. Is it real? Mondays on the National Geographic Channel. Dare to explore.
Time now for the most ridiculous item of the day. Former CIA operative Valerie Plame and her husband, Ambassador Joseph Wilson, have filed suit against Karl Rove and Vice President Cheney for releasing Ms. Plame's name to journalists, thereby putting her in danger, they say. Former Cheney aide Louis Libby, under indictment in the case, is also named in the civil suit, which supporters of President Bush will find ridiculous, but anti-Bush people will applaud. You can make your own call on this one. And finally tonight, the mail. Tons of it last night. We thank all of our correspondents from around the world. Randy Reimer, Roseville, Michigan. The Bush administration's decision to grant Geneva Convention protections to terrorists is absurd. It legitimizes al-Qaeda. Rush Bishop, Seattle. O'Reilly failed to mention the reason the terrorists are getting those protections is the Supreme Court ruled they must have them. False, Mr. Bishop. The court cited Geneva in its ruling as a reference. It only said Mr. Bush has to get congressional approval to empower military tribunals, sir. T. Stanley, Talent, Oregon. Perhaps, Mr. O'Reilly, if the far left is conducting a jihad, as you contend, then you are waging a far-right assault. It goes both ways, sir. It goes nowhere unless you can back up your assertion, Mr. Stanley, and you can't. James Hellwig, Eagle, Idaho. Bill, you're right. Efforts to stop the inflow of illegal aliens at the border will be more effective than cracking down on people who hire them once they get here. We should do both, Mr. Hellwig. Ken Kello, Peach Bottom, Pennsylvania. The Border Patrol guy is right, not you, O'Reilly. Heavy fines on business will solve the problem, not the National Guard. Annette Webb, Fairhope, Alabama. As a truck driver, I can lose my job if I don't submit to a drug test. If the school wants to test my daughters, I will support it. Linda Longazel, Scottsdale, Arizona. I disagree with you, Bill. The school should not drug test. Students can have their property searched, but they themselves are not property. Kathleen Kaluza, Evergreen, Colorado. Lots of very good kids do stupid things, and they shouldn't have their whole record put in jeopardy because they are caught in a drug test. You know, good kids can become trouble kids real quick, madam, if drugs or alcohol become part of their life. Making it more difficult for children to use substance should be society's mandate. Lauren Simmons, Victoria, Australia. I am 11 years old, and I want kids to be tested. I certainly don't want to be in the same classroom with someone under the influence. Ron Fireman, Los Angeles. Hey, Bill, it's ridiculous for the Los Angeles to turn down money to help animals from a bikini contest. Like the L.A. government is so pure. David DePriest, Canton, Georgia. What's up with the Barbie twins wearing sunglasses? I thought I was watching The Matrix. And Tammy Houseneck, Brooksville, Florida. Bill, I'm a veterinarian technician, and I'd be happy to raise money in a bikini contest if I look like a California girl. But you, Bill, the Fabio of Fox, should certainly get in there. The Fabio of Fox? Did he get a haircut? Yeah, Fabio. Isn't that the guy with the hair down there? All right. The Fabio of Fox would like you to go to www.foxnews.com/O'Reilly. I like that Fabio of Fox. Do we have a wig? No. And on there, you will have my talking points memo, Factor Gear, and you will have the time of your life. And then you can email us if you have any energy left after the excitement on the website. O'Reilly@foxnews.com. O'Reilly@foxnews.com. Name and town, name and town, name and town if you wish to opine. And please do not be a blabberskate, I believe it. No, I got it wrong. I had a great new word, but I forgot it. It's something with skate. It's not blather. It may be blabber. Bladder. No, bladder skate. That's it. Don't be a bladder skate if you write to us. Bladder, like bladder, skate. Look it up. Great work. That's it for us today. As always, thank you for watching The Factor. Please listen to Radio Factor. Check out BillO'Reilly.com. Get the Keep It Pithy t-shirts.